In the gospel stories, there are many stories like this, stories of healing of physical ailments. Blind people, deaf people, mute people, crippled people, people like this, long-suffering people. A lot of the stories are about people who just had some kind of physical ailment for ages and ages, it seems like, for many, many years, carrying the burden of a physical sickness, a physical disease within them. There are other stories where there is no physical ailment or anything like that present, but where Jesus seems to intervene in a much more spiritual way, healing sinfulness, forgiving sins. Stories about even his healing people like the rich young man who comes to him. Yeah, there was no physical ailment, there's no apparent sin there, but Jesus invites the young man to come more deeply into life with him, invites him to come closer, in his case by giving up some of his material stuff that was in the way of his life with God. In all the cases, whether spiritual, whether sinful and now forgiven, or whether physically somehow impaired and healed or cured, Jesus is about giving life to folks. Even the young man who comes with nothing else but too much stuff, too much baggage in his life, Jesus is inviting him to more life. He wants to take away what's holding him back from growing deeper in love with Christ. In his particular case, that's what it was. But Jesus, what he wants for the man is more life. That's what he offers him. Because the guy's asking, how do I get to heaven? You know? He said, you got too many bags, buddy. Set it down and come on. I'll show you a deeper way to live. And he walks away. He doesn't do it. He's one of the few who seem to walk away and do nothing. This story of healing in today's gospel, both stories are marvelous. What Jesus is about is bringing more life into those situations. This poor woman, hemorrhaging all those years, the part of it that we don't see is there's a whole thing in Judaism about a physical ailment like that. It was considered punishment from God, punishment of some kind or whatever, very Old Testament. If I can just touch his cloak, if I can just get near enough to grab onto a piece of his clothing, I'll be made clean. And the other one, the father, I mean, what he wants is life for his daughter, wellness for his daughter. Jesus is going to wake her up from her, he says, sleep. She's not dead. And he does, and restores her to good health and gives her back to her parents. And don't you love that little thing at the end? You know what? She's probably hungry. You ought to give her something to eat. Just a very practical, Jesus does this all the time. He just breaks in with these kinds of things with people. What does this all say to us in our journey as disciples? I don't think healing has stopped. Physical healing actually continued even into the age of the first apostles. You always notice, though, that Jesus never heals unless he finds faith. Did you ever notice that? Jesus doesn't heal to make someone a believer. A believer comes and asks for healing and gets healing. Unbelievers don't. He went home to Nazareth. So much did their lack of faith bother him, nothing. He couldn't do anything there. Why? Because they didn't believe he could. And so he didn't. Whether it's curing physical ailment, whether it's an inner peace we get at a time of great disturbance, whether it's forgiveness of sinfulness that has us bound up and imprisoned in our relationship with God, whether it's just calling us into deeper life with him, whether it's taking away that hard-headed, stubborn heart of ours at times, whether it's a forgiveness that we have to give to somebody else, no matter what it is, he wants to help us. He wants to give us deeper life. He wants you, every one of us here, he wants me to have a deeper love relationship with his Father. That's what he's there. That's why he died on the cross for us. So what keeps it from happening in us? I do. You do. We're the ones that stop it, not God. What did he say? He said, do not be afraid, just have faith. Believe I can do this, and I will do it, and I'll heal everything in you that needs healing. And you know what? Usually he throws in a surprise or two also, because it's the way he is with us. We've chosen to follow him. So, do not be afraid. Just have faith, and he will do it.